Interesting. And we'll get to the question of public participation, because I think in the case of the impeachment of Mike Sonko, they also indicate that public participation is an integral part of that entire process. But Eric, talk to us about what you're witnessing. And of course, looking at the strategy, because the Deputy President himself acknowledged that many people, when he issued the notice that he was going to address the nation, several people thought he was going to resign. He says that some of his friends have been coming to him. He actually called them jokers with suggestions for him to resign, and told them that if they continue, he's going to stop speaking to them. What is this strategy in your assessment?
Thank you, Sam. I watched the interview, or parts of it, and I was, one, amused, and two, intrigued. It sort of reminded me of a time when there was some debate, and we expected the candidate, then Deputy President, to not perform so well. And he sort of surprised us. And I think yesterday he was also in his element in prosecuting his case before the public. I picked out perhaps one or two things. Having looked at the allegations that had been leveled against him, I had felt that there are certain things that, certain allegations that, in my view, fell below the threshold that would be required, and that whoever is making those allegations was going to have a very difficult time in getting them to a level that they can be believed.
Right.
And I think the Deputy President yesterday focused on some of those concerns and gave us a general outline of his defense, picking on the weakest allegations that had been made against him, and just highlighting how, quote-unquote, petty they were. And, you know, playing to human emotion. And I think that in terms of prosecuting his case before the ordinary members of the public, he actually did that. And that, in my view, puts then a lot of pressure, especially on the MPs who come from his backyard, and in areas that may not be his backyard, but in areas where the people of his community form a significant portion of the vote. And you know, politicians do that all the time. They'll tell you, I know in this constituency, if I don't get the vote of this block and this block, then I'm likely to lose an election. And so that then comes into play, because when you have trivialized those allegations, because there are some allegations, I think, that he will have a problem dealing with. But the problem here is that it looks like every rumor that had been mentioned about, you know, and you know, in this country we sometimes have a lot of rumors. So and so has done one, so and so has done one. So all those rumors appear to have been put into the motion. And what they have done is that they have now trivialized the entire process. And I think that the danger we face with this impeachment motion is that all of us know that it is not about the Deputy President falling below a threshold that is expected of him. Truth be told, he has spoken and he has behaved in a manner that is not befitting the holder of the office of the Deputy President. That is a fact. You cannot discount it. Secondly, he has probably rubbed shoulders with politicians, perhaps in a manner that the holder of that office, if you look at, for example, what happened at Wakulima Market, there would have been a better way to deal with that issue with the governor of Nairobi, as opposed to, appearing to actually contradict an action that has been taken by an independent arm that actually has the competence, the constitutional competence to deal with that issue. So when you look at those, then you now decide, because of all those two small things, which are big, if we were in a system that had hygiene, even then it would have been a little bit difficult to say that those raise to the threshold of impeachment offenses.
Okay.
But that said and done, I disagree with what Dr. Olo has said. Impeachment, yes, is a political process, but there are certain legal thresholds that have to be met. It is defined by law. There are certain constitutional requirements that have to be met, and that then makes it a legal process, because you have to go through a trial. And when it goes to Senate, if it does, which I suspect it will, it then Senate converts itself into a quasi-judicial body that then makes inquiries into those things, and there'll be witnesses and they'll be cross-examined. So there is a legal aspect to it. But what the Deputy President, in my view, was trying to do yesterday was to make it extremely difficult for MPs in Parliament to do what I suspect they are going to do to him today.
And so that I can clear the record.
Sorry, just before you do, Eric, I'm just wondering, so you're saying that he managed to trivialize some of these allegations, but the people that are going to make that decision is the members of the National Assembly. Do you think they are convinced, and what is the value if they still make the decision you're saying they will make?
You know, the members of Parliament, their primary consideration is the political need to remove the Deputy President. Look at it this way. This impeachment motion has overwhelming support from members of the Azimio coalition who are of the ODM wing. If you look at their consideration to removing the Deputy President, it is purely political as a result of one or two of their members being included in government and having to, use this impeachment process to up their claim in the so-called broad-based government, or rather, show their worth in the broad-based government, and also extend the table of goodies that they can partake in. Remember, we all know that they are also entitled to certain positions in the PS, and so they have something. They have a stake. In this whatever. So that is the primary consideration.
Oh, okay. Allow me to take a short break. I'll come back with more because you're raising a very important issue that